Gentlemen, let us address the elephant in the room, the t-shirt. For the man over 50, it is a seductive trap. It promises youth, but often delivers sloppiness. When you wear a thin tee with a massive logo, you are not looking young. You are signaling that you have given up. Then there is the golf polo, stiff mesh cotton that looks athletic but utterly soulless at a dinner table. We need a bridge. Enter the knitted polo. This is what I call the millionaire's t-shirt. It is not cut from cheap jersey fabric. It is knitted loop by loop like a fine sweater. It does not cling to your imperfections. It drapes over them with grace. It combines the absolute comfort of pajamas with the quiet dignity of a tailored suit. It is the weapon of a man who prefers the whisper of texture to the shout of a brand name. Welcome to the upgrade. Chapter 1. The Fabric Rebellion. To understand why the knitted polo is superior, we must first understand the enemy, the standard cotton Pique. You know this fabric well. It is the material of 90% of the polo shirts sold in department stores. It is a honeycomb mesh, designed originally for tennis players in the 1920s. It was created to be beaten, sweated in, and washed 1,000 times. It is stiff, it is utilitarian, and it is fundamentally athletic. But ask yourself this: are you currently playing a set at Wimbledon? Are you sweating on a clay court? If the answer is no, then why are you dressing like it? For the man over 50, rigid fabrics are rarely your friend. Pique cotton stands away from the body in a harsh, cardboard-like manner. It does not flow. It holds its own shape, often creating boxy, unflattering angles around your torso. Furthermore, over time, pique cotton fades unevenly. The collars curl at the edges, and the seams turn white, making you look worn out before your time. The rebellion begins when you switch to a knitted fabric. Unlike cut-and-sew cotton, which is stamped out of a massive roll of cloth, a knitted polo is often fully fashioned. This means it is knitted into its final shape, like a piece of architecture for the body. The difference is in the drape. Imagine pouring water over a stone. That is how a knitted polo behaves. It is liquid. It possesses a fluidity that rigid cotton simply cannot replicate. Whether it is crafted from fine merino wool, a silk cotton blend, or high-twist Sea Island cotton, the knitted fabric moves with you, not against you. It respects the natural movement of the human form. Visually, the difference is night and day. Pique cotton is matte. It absorbs light, looking flat and dull. A knitted weave, however, has a microscopic texture that catches the ambient light. It has a subtle luster, a halo of softness that radiates health and vitality. When you wear a knitted polo, you are not wearing a uniform. You are wearing a garment that invites touch. It signals to the world that you are no longer dressing for the grind of the game, but for the pleasure of the clubhouse. This shift from sportswear to leisure wear is the single most important upgrade you can make. It is the difference between looking like a gym coach and looking like a man who owns the team. Chapter 2. The Midsection Miracle. Let us discuss the area of the body that causes the most anxiety for the mature man: the midsection. Gravity, metabolism, and the good life eventually take their toll. As we cross the threshold of 50, the waistline thickens. It is a biological reality, not a moral failing. However, how we dress this reality is entirely within our control. The standard t-shirt or the cheap cotton polo is a traitor to the aging body. It presents you with a cruel dilemma, a choice between two evils. If the shirt fits correctly in the shoulders, it is often too tight around the stomach, creating the dreaded sausage casing effect. It clings to every curve, highlighting the belly button and the love handles in high definition. Conversely, if you size up to accommodate the waist, the shirt hangs like a shapeless tent. It becomes a dress. You lose your chest definition. Your arms look smaller, and you appear 10 pounds heavier than you actually are. Enter the knitted polo, and specifically, its secret weapon, the ribbed hem. Unlike a t-shirt, which has a straight, open hem that dangles aimlessly over your trousers, a proper knitted polo features a wide, elasticized band at the bottom, usually 2 to 3 inches of reinforced knitting. This is not merely a stylistic detail. It is structural engineering for the human torso. Here is the physics of how it works. The ribbed hem is designed to grip your hips gently. It sits securely at the waistband of your trousers, creating a fixed anchor point. Because the hem stays put, the fabric of the torso, which is cut slightly fuller, folds over the waistband, creating a subtle, elegant overhang. In fashion tailoring, we call this the blouson effect. This effect is a miracle worker. It creates a buffer zone of air between the fabric and your skin. The shirt drapes away from the belly rather than clinging to it. It creates a clean, vertical line from the chest down to the hip, effectively masking the contours of the midsection. It gives the illusion of a flatter stomach without you having to suck it in. Furthermore, this solves the eternal to tuck or not to tuck equation. A t-shirt looks juvenile when tucked in, highlighting the potbelly. A regular polo often comes untucked when you raise your arms, looking messy. The knitted polo with a ribbed hem sits perfectly at the waistline all day long. It looks as neat as a tucked-in shirt, but offers the freedom of an untucked one. It creates a silhouette that is V-shaped rather than pear-shaped. It turns the dad bod into a father figure, imposing, solid, and impeccably put together. Chapter 3. The texture depth. Gentlemen, let us talk about dimensions. A standard t-shirt or a smooth cotton shirt is a two-dimensional object living in a three-dimensional world. It is flat. It is uninspired. It is a blank screen that broadcasts nothing but the color it was dyed in. But true style, the kind that stops people in the street, lives in the third dimension. It lives in texture. This is where the knitted polo separates the boys from the men. Because the fabric is knitted rather than woven, it allows for intricate architectural patterns that rise from the surface of the cloth. We are not talking about printed patterns, which are gaudy and cheap, but structural patterns created by the yarn itself. Consider the classic cable knit, the fisherman's weave. This is a pattern with deep roots in maritime history. The twisting, rope-like structures on the front of the shirt catch the light from different angles. It creates a topography on your chest. A cinematographer would call this chiaroscuro, the interplay of light and shadow. Even in a solid color like navy or cream, a cable knit polo looks infinitely complex. It suggests ruggedness, strength, and a connection to the sea. It adds physical bulk to the chest and shoulders without adding weight, making you look broader and more masculine. Or consider the waffle knit or honeycomb weave. These are intricate geometric micro-patterns that resemble the surface of a honeycomb. They trap air, making the shirt breathable, but visually they create a depth that sucks the viewer in. It breaks the monotony of a single color. A flat gray shirt looks like a uniform. A waffle knit gray polo looks like a piece of modern architecture. For the man over 50, this texture play serves a highly strategic purpose: camouflage. A smooth, shiny fabric reflects light evenly, which means it highlights every lump, bump, and imperfection underneath. It acts like a spotlight on your body. Texture does the opposite. The complex surface of a cable or waffle knit breaks up the light. It confuses the eye. It blurs the lines of the body beneath. It acts as a soft focus lens for your torso, smoothing out the silhouette and hiding the inevitable softening of the physique that comes with age. Finally, we must mention the touch factor. We live in a world of smooth glass screens and plastic surfaces. Humans crave tactile experiences. A knitted polo invites touch. It looks soft, fuzzy, and warm. It triggers a psychological response of comfort and trust in those around you. When you wear texture, you are not just presenting an image. You are offering an experience. You become a man of substance, quite literally. You are no longer just wearing a shirt. You are wearing a piece of art that happens to have sleeves. Chapter 4. The Riviera Collar. Gentlemen, in the architecture of style, the collar is the frame of the face. You can possess the most expensive haircut, the healthiest tan, and the most charming smile. But if your collar is limp, curled, or cheap, the masterpiece is ruined. We have all seen the tragedy of the standard polo collar after a few washes. The cheap, fused interlining disintegrates, the points curl upward like frying bacon, and the plastic buttons chip or dangle by a thread. It is a visual admission of defeat. To elevate your style, we must look to the golden age of leisure, the 1950s French Riviera. We must adopt the Riviera collar, often known in sartorial circles as the Johnny collar. What makes this collar special? It is defined by what it lacks. It has no buttons. It has no buttonholes. It features a continuous placket that flows seamlessly from the neck down to the chest in a clean, uninterrupted V shape. This absence of hardware is a masterstroke of design. Buttons are utilitarian. They are fasteners designed to close things up, to restrict, to secure. By removing them, the shirt signals a permanent state of relaxation. It implies that you have nothing to hide and no reason to button up against the world. It captures the essence of sprezzatura, that uniquely Italian art of studied carelessness. You look effortlessly chic, as if you just stepped off a boat in Portofino to grab a coffee. For the man over 50, the Riviera collar offers a powerful optical advantage. As we age, the neck tends to thicken and visually shorten. A standard crew neck or a buttoned-up polo creates a horizontal line that chops the head off from the body, emphasizing the jowls and the heaviness of the face. The Riviera collar does the opposite. The deep V creates a strong vertical line that draws the eye downward. It visually elongates the neck. It opens up the chest. It frames the jawline and draws attention to the face in a flattering, narrowing way. Furthermore, let us discuss the collar roll. Because these shirts are knitted, The collar is not a separate, stiff piece of cloth attached to the body. It is often an organic extension of the shirt itself. It possesses a natural, soft roll that sits elegantly on the collarbone. It does not stand stiffly at attention like a military uniform. It relaxes. When worn under a blazer, perhaps your navy hopsack jacket, the Riviera Collar performs a cinematic magic trick. You can flip the collar points over the lapels of your jacket for a dash of 1970s swagger. Think Al Pacino or Jude Law in The Talented Mr. Ripley. Or let them sit neatly inside for a look of quiet restraint. It is versatile, it is romantic, and it is undeniably masculine. It transforms a simple outfit into a scene from a movie where you are the leading man. Chapter 5. The Chromatic Bond. We have built the structure. The fabric is knitted, the hem is ribbed, the texture is deep, and the collar is open. Now we must paint the canvas. In our previous discussion, we established the Off-White Chino as the foundation of your wardrobe. It is a neutral, light-reflecting masterpiece. But a foundation is nothing without a partner. The knitted polo is that partner, and the color you choose will determine whether you look like a retired golfer or an Italian industrialist. The chromatic bond is the art of marrying the top and bottom in a way that creates emotional resonance. First, a stern warning. You must burn the crayon box. Many men over 50 make the mistake of thinking bright colors make them look younger. They wear electric blue, fire engine red, or canary yellow. Gentlemen, stop. These highly saturated artificial primary colors are harsh. They fight against the softness of the cream trousers. They wash out your complexion, highlighting the redness in your face and the grayness of your hair. They belong on a race car, not on a gentleman. Instead, we look to the earth palette. We want colors that feel organic, harvested, and aged. Your first and most powerful option is tobacco, or rust. Imagine the rich, golden brown hue of a dried cigar leaf or a glass of aged cognac. When you pair a tobacco knitted polo with off-white chinos, you create a combination that is purely cinematic. It is warm against warm. It evokes the feeling of late autumn sunlight. Visually, the brown anchors the lightness of the trousers, while the cream lifts the heaviness of the brown. It is sophisticated, rare, and incredibly masculine. Your second option is sage green or olive. We are not talking about the bright green of a pool table, but the muted, dusty green of a dried herb or a military fatigue. This color pairs with off-white to create a nature bond. It mimics the colors of a tree against a stone wall. It is soft, approachable, and calming. For men with silver or gray hair, sage green is a secret weapon. It complements the silver tones beautifully without creating a jarring contrast. Finally, we return to the classic, deep navy. But here is the nuance. In a knitted texture, navy is not just blue. It is inky. The texture creates shadows within the yarn, making the blue appear darker, almost like a midnight sky. When placed against the stark cleanliness of off-white trousers, it creates the highest possible contrast, the high-definition look. It is authoritative. It is sharp. It is the uniform of the commander. So when you stand before your mirror, remember this rule. Your trousers are the light, stone, cream, ivory. Your polo must be the earth, tobacco, sage, navy. When these two elements meet, They do not just match, they harmonize. They tell a story of a man who is grounded, natural, and utterly at ease with his place in the world. Gentlemen, the path to elegance does not always require a tie or a tailored jacket. Sometimes it simply requires a change of texture. By trading the flat, soulless cotton of a t-shirt for the rich, architectural depth of a knitted polo, you are not just changing your clothes, you are changing your frequency. You are telling the world that you value yourself enough to be comfortable and respectable simultaneously. So here is your assignment. This weekend, find one knitted polo in tobacco or sage. Wear it with your off-white chinos. Feel the soft wool against your skin. Notice how you hold yourself differently. Notice the lingering glances. You will realize that you haven't sacrificed comfort for style. You have finally found the place where they meet. Because at this stage of life, comfort is the ultimate luxury.